Welcome to the latest of my deep dive videos. Today I'm going to explore Saturn's station in direct, which occurs across the 27th or the 28th of November, depending on location. Saturn is currently at 25 degrees in Pisces, but when the retrograde began, which is annual and 5 months, and always inverts 7 degrees, it was just under 2 degrees in the fire sign of Aries. And on the 1st of September, Saturn inverted in that retrograde back into the sign of Pisces. But why Pisces and Saturn is such a powerful combination is because the sign of Pisces is the sign of culmination. It's the 12th zodiac sign, so it's the end of the zodiac. Saturn can be about harsh lessons. It is, in terms of Greek mythology, known as Kronos, the ruler of time, both physically but also in a more karmic sense. So very often Saturn can represent outcomes and consequences. So we're all collectively going to discover through these next 3 months what we've reaped over the previous 29 and a half years, which is how long Saturn takes to go through the entire zodiac. Now, of course, ironically, Saturn made its first sojourn into the sign of Aries on the 25th of May through to the 1st of September, but it's not particularly happy in the sign of Aries either, known as being in its fall, because Saturn's about constraint and Aries is about action and initiation. And also Pisces, which is a water sign, if we think that in terms of what we can see with our naked eye from Earth, Saturn is the only planet we can always see from Earth, and therefore the ancients saw it as very much the edge of reality, and therefore very much to do with our boundaries. But the sign of Pisces doesn't like boundaries, it doesn't like structures. It's a dreamy, drifting, very mysterious energy, not least from its modern aquatic ruler of Neptune, very gaseous. So Saturn here is very bogged down and not at its best in Aries either. So ever since Saturn moved into Pisces in March 2023, I think for many of us there have been some significant headwinds, lessons, difficulties and challenges. But what I can tell you is that burdens will ease now with Saturn going direct. But the harder you've worked, the more application as well as inspiration and perspiration that you've put in to whatever has meant a lot to you, the more you can see the rewards through to the middle of February when Saturn starts that entire journey through the heavens once more. So it's a massive, massive event. But just as Saturn stations direct, he also forges a fantastic alliance to Jupiter, the planet of growth, the greater benefit. Saturn's known as the greater malefic, but they're also both linking beautifully to Venus. Venus is the lesser benefit, but still a lovely planet, not at her absolute best in the sign of Scorpio. She's in her detriment. But here that's very much, of course, about intimacy. It can be about sex, long-term finances. Jupiter in Cancer, very much about working on our internal world in terms of our emotions, security, personal development. And Saturn in Pisces, it's about listening to our instincts and trying to create our structures that work not just in a practical way but feel right too. So they're forging a grand water trine, and if we can flow with that energy from now through to the middle of February, it can be very constructive for us. I'm going to unpack all of this for you. I'm also going to share with you an overview for each of the 12 zodiac signs from Aries through to Pisces, which you can relate to in terms of your ascendant, sun or the moon, through to the middle of February. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundell. Thank you so much for joining me. It's a great pleasure to have your company. If you've yet to subscribe to the channel, please help it to continue to thrive and do so now. We have found that over 50% of people who regularly watch my videos are not subscribers. If that's you, please support the channel, but also please click or tap the bell notification symbol. Your likes and comments and views and interactions are truly appreciated. So year 2026 is racing up. If you've yet to watch your deep dive for each of the 12 zodiac signs, you can do so now. Please see the link beneath this video. Also, my new website at patrickarundell.com is really taking shape. You can sign up for your free daily written horoscope fired to your device each morning by going to patrickarundell.com. And also, finally, if you'd like to order your personal horoscope for next year, if you do so now, you get the rest of this year free. Your life roadmap report, 30% off, totally unique to you. 3 gifts of your general, love, Chinese and Indian written forecast for each of the 12 signs. Please see below for more information. So let's just think about the challenges since the 13th of July. If you have cardinal degrees, that's from 0 degrees Aries, Cancer, Libra or Capricorn through to 4 degrees, I feel that you may have experienced this retrograde, particularly to the 1st of September, quite keenly. If you've got late mutable energy, so we're talking about from 23 degrees through to 30 degrees, 29 degrees and 59 seconds, of the signs of Gemini, of Virgo, Sagittarius or Pisces, again you may have felt the retrograde through the sign of Pisces very keenly as well. And whatever house Saturn has been in your natal chart going backwards, that's where you may have felt a very powerful energy that has been hard to push back against, one that may have lowered vitality, lowered spirit, that's been very exacting, where someone's been very cold, very unforgiving, has wanted a lot from a situation and has been very unyielding. All those very almost Dickensian vibes of Saturn, you know, really wanting more and more from the situation and not a lot of warmth or slack. And of course Pisces is a water energy, so if there has been those challenges, that may have felt like lower spirits. In turn may have meant to a lower immune system, so more infections, and just feeling a pretty run down. And of course we're all collectively experiencing what's going on in the world, and because Saturn's in a water sign, the perceptive energy of Pisces, which is considerable, may have meant that if it has seemed that everyone else seems to have their hands on the levers of power and we feel pretty helpless and lost, well, that is another kind of Pisces response to Saturn's retrograde. Not easy at all. So having the welcoming committee of Jupiter, the traditional ruler of the sign of Pisces, in a wonderful location in Cancer where it is exalted, although now retrograde, but also Venus, the lesser benefic. So we have the two benefics, the greater and lesser, collaborating in a wonderful enabling trine, but they're anchored by the steady eddy of Saturn at its best. So what we can have with Jupiter at times is unrealistic expectations. With Venus in Scorpio, we may have a strong desire, whether it is for the more material or financial hopes we have, or it may be for intimacy. Saturn in Pisces asks us to be conscious of how things feel and to work our expectations around that. So Saturn really provides stability to both Venus and Jupiter. For example, Saturn with Venus suggests that we're much more conscious of who the solid citizens are in our lives in terms of friendships. And we have Saturn's link to Jupiter, finding a nice balance between our more optimistic plans, but also how we're going to execute them with discipline and care. So these three are collaborating very well, but because the three hosts are watery, it's crucial that we give ourselves permission to tune into our instincts, as long as put the application in, as long as be very positive with Jupiter, but also to have the desire for connection or change through Scorpio. So there is a reception there that's very, very helpful indeed. One of the reasons that Saturn was so feared by the ancients was it is the only planet that we can always physically see with our eyes. So it was seen as the final frontier. Beyond that, nobody knew what really existed. So very much to do with boundaries. But those boundaries also can feel like they're penniless in some ways. And Pisces pushes against that for sure. But if we have really learned a lot of lessons from the struggle of the last couple of years and worked with that and grown, essentially water signs can help our personal development. Shedding the skins that are no longer working, very scorpionic with Venus, by being open to personal development, looking inside ourselves, Jupiter in Cancer, and going beyond perhaps some of the philosophies that were taught to us when we were younger and children, but also the energy of Saturn in Pisces suggests that if we don't always just live in the physical or material realm, we can gain a lot of insights that actually help to guide whatever we do need to do, which is about some of life's everyday realities. So please stay with me as I go through each of the 12 zodiac signs now. So Aries, you're going through a time of closure now, and that closure is going to intensify through the next 3 months. Whether it's coming to terms with an old relationship that didn't work out, where your work situation has shifted, or perhaps it's letting go of some old patterns that have been quite embedded in your nature. If things are no longer serving your greater good, if you can really get into the concept that change, the mutability of Pisces, is okay, and be philosophical about releasing what no longer serves your greater good, you're actually going to create a lot of space ready for when Saturn returns to your sign in the middle of February, ready to start that new epoch. And because Saturn can be about foundations, you're very much about getting things off the ground and being very dynamic. So if you make very steady preparations for that point, you'll be well prepared when we get through to the middle of February. You can order your year 2026 personal forecast now. Get the rest of this year 30% off your life roadmap report. Totally unique to each person these are produced for. And the combination of your life roadmap and your forecast can help you plan your moves really shrewdly in the months ahead. You also get my free gift of your general, love, Chinese and Indian written zodiac forecast for each of the 12 signs. Please see below for more. So Taurus, your long-term future may not have been clear at all over the last 5 months. There may have also, over the last couple of years, been some real disappointments about certain collaborations, cooperations. Some people that you thought were very solid citizens may have turned out to be anything but. But now, the great asset you have is that I would imagine that most of that is all out in the open. So now that you know exactly where you stand, between now and the middle of February, plan ahead, because you can do so with conviction, and I feel with clarity, despite the fact that mutable and watery energy can be a little bit hard to pin down. I think for you, the experiences that you've had, especially with Uranus over the last 7 years or so, it shook out a lot of the things in your world that just weren't working. And now, with all that knowledge, you're ready to write your future plan in a very clear way. You can order your year 2026 personal forecast now. Get the rest of this year 30% off your life roadmap report. totally unique to each person these are produced for. And the combination of your life roadmap and your forecast can help you plan your moves really shrewdly in the months ahead. You also get my free gift of your general, love, Chinese and Indian written zodiac forecast for each of the 12 signs. Please see below for more. So Gemini, over the last couple of years, you may have taken on much larger responsibilities in terms of your professional situation, started your own business, gone into a leadership role. Perhaps you've also been looking out for older relatives, and those goals and ambitions, which are very important, especially to Saturn, because Saturn rules the sign of Capricorn, which is the material part of our journey through the sky. Capricorn really appreciates status, hard work, application. But for a sign like yours, which is very flexing, being on a very calibrated path doesn't always work for you, because you need at times to be very flexing, and that isn't always easy. What's helped you is the sign of Pisces like yours is mutable. But if things have recently been going a lot slower in terms of those big desires that you've had, it really wouldn't be a surprise. But any struggles that you've encountered have created a clear and workable blueprint for the goals that you have future forwards. But in order to achieve them over the next 2.25 years, how you collaborate with others will be as important as your own personal ambition. So in other words, you can go for it, but if you can go for it and work or network with people closely, you are much more likely to succeed. You can order your year 2026 personal forecast now. Get the rest of this year 30% off your life roadmap report. Totally unique to each person these are produced for. And the combination of your life roadmap and your forecast can help you plan your moves really shrewdly in the months ahead. You also get my free gift of your general, love, Chinese and Indian written zodiac forecast for each of the 12 signs. Please see below for more. So Cancer, for you, sometimes in life, particularly for water signs, it's really important to know where one's sole purpose lies. And I feel, particularly with Saturn going through Aries from the 25th of May through to the 1st of September, if you weren't really feeling it in terms of your professional role, your connection to your work, your responsibilities, that may have got you really thinking, since Saturn moved back into Pisces, about how you could perhaps add to your skills or knowledge in order to guide your future progress, where you could align much more with what really feels right for you. Because it's possible, once Saturn moves back into Aries on the 14th of February, a completely new journey may begin, and it may not be doing what you were doing earlier this year. So in the interim is a time of preparation, and that preparation can, because the 9th house is about knowledge, but it's also about how broadly we think about things. It can also be about our more spiritual alignment, and Jupiter, of course, in your sign is brilliant because very much in tune with that 9th house. Venus, the other welcoming planet in the groundwater trine to Saturn, well, that's very much about being playful, more creative, having fun. Why not? Saturn does allow fun, but for you it needs to be fun that works for you. So with Jupiter being in your own sign, I think it is a reminder of your cardinal quality, which makes you a leader. The archetype may be of you chained to the kitchen sink. It's completely wrong, outdated, unfair. Yes, you need to feel the environment you work in feels comfortable. The atmosphere or the people you connect to is something you're at ease with, and then you can flow. So if there's something you want to have more enjoyment around, whether it is your social situation, your hobbies, your interests, or your work, your soul energy needs to inform that over these next 3 months. And if you just haven't been enjoying something recently, this could be a time to think seriously about letting go of something that may seem to have some benefits for you, but maybe tying up a lot of your energy and preventing you from really just diving into and expressing the very best and highest part of your potential. You can order your year 2026 personal forecast now. Get the rest of this year 30% off your life roadmap report. Totally unique to each person these are produced for. And the combination of your life roadmap and your forecast can help you plan your moves really shrewdly in the months ahead. You also get my free gift of your general, love, Chinese and Indian written zodiac forecast for each of the 12 signs. Please see below for more. Leo, your natural panache, personality, power and charisma over the last couple of years has had to be balanced as an individual with where you connect closely to others with Saturn in Pisces. Now, in a more practical way, you may have found that long-term finances, shared resources, anything to do with business may not have gone exactly to plan, or certainly not at the speed that you may like. Doesn't mean to say you may not have gained a lot. If you have been able to balance your unique personality with an investment into a close tie or a business situation, there may have been growth, but it probably has taken a lot of commitment. Now, when Saturn moved into Aries, you may have gone through a period from the end of May to the 1st of September when you thought more about your situation from a broader perspective. Perhaps higher education, learning new skills, travel, or breaking away from something that felt too encasing, that actually didn't allow your individuality to shine out at all. So if you have been trying to collaborate either personally or business-wise with someone who's very unyielding and wants it all on their terms, or is very controlling and doesn't want to celebrate what makes your unique persona so strong, that may have been quite bruising. So from now through to the middle of February, if you are coming to terms with something that you have needed to release, even if that's been very painful because of all the effort you've put in, at least it is going to ready you for a brand new beginning. But the converse can be true. If you've really beavered away and found strategies and the right people where you can be yourself, but you also understand what they need from you, and have had the trust and confidence to invest and be much more aware that there is a lot to gain by being very close. But one of the things we need to do in order to achieve that is to let go of our sense of self somewhat, and that's where the nub may have been for you. You can order your year 2026 personal forecast now. Get the rest of this year 30% off your life roadmap report. Totally unique to each person these are produced for. And the combination of your life roadmap and your forecast can help you plan your moves really shrewdly in the months ahead. You also get my free gift of your general, love, Chinese and Indian written zodiac forecast for each of the 12 signs. Please see below for more. So Virgo, over the last couple of years, there may have been a lot going on around relationships. It may at times have been a period when you have encountered some challenges. It hasn't all been plain sailing, but Saturn in the 7th house may have also made you much more conscious of someone who's very serious about you and was prepared to match your commitment, and that could have baked in a long-term relationship which could be very positive for you both, because you both had that desire to work at it. But the converse can be true. So if you have broken up with someone over the last couple of years and it even got messy, perhaps even around the assets, because Saturn in the 8th house from the 25th of May to the 1st of September may have seen you had to look at that and decide who got what very, very hurtful and very painful stuff to go through. But what you get a chance to do now between today and through to the middle of February is really celebrate the lessons you've learned, where you're going to be a bit more clear on your boundaries, but also you've worked harder at understanding what other people need from you. So that's where the industry of Saturn could work for you. Or you could, if you've not met someone, you could meet someone who really does call out to you. And because Jupiter and Venus are involved in Saturn station in direct, your way of communicating or your connections to others, particularly if you can widen those, whether it is through your interests, hobbies or travel, there's a much greater chance that you will encounter people who share your values. Very, very important. And a connection could follow. So if there has been frustrations, hurts or losses, there's still a window of opportunity for something so much more profoundly better to come for you. Or you could bake in a relationship or a connection where you're both prepared to really go for it, commit, and really work as hard as you can. Saturn can reward like that too. You can order your year 2026 personal forecast now. Get the rest of this year 30% off your life roadmap report. Totally unique to each person these are produced for. And the combination of your life roadmap and your forecast can help you plan your moves really shrewdly in the months ahead. You also get my free gift of your general, love, Chinese and Indian written zodiac forecast for each of the 12 signs. Please see below for more. So Libra, over the last couple of years, it wouldn't be a complete surprise if things have been quite hard going as far as your job is concerned, maybe even your physical vitality. Anything to do with your life structure may be where you've been tightening things up, because you can't always be the giver. There has to be a time when you give to yourself. But the lessons, Saturn, that you have learned through this process means over the next 3 months, if you really pitched in and done your best, and it hasn't always felt that you've been acknowledged or seen or recognized for the attention to detail, the care that you've taken, the sacrifices you've made, your reward can come if you've really tried your absolute hardest. You can order your year 2026 personal forecast now. Get the rest of this year 30% off your life roadmap report. Totally unique to each person these are produced for. And the combination of your life roadmap and your forecast can help you plan your moves really shrewdly in the months ahead. You also get my free gift of your general, love, Chinese and Indian written zodiac forecast for each of the 12 signs. Please see below for more. So Scorpio, for you, Saturn over the last 2 years has been going through the part of your chart that's to do with joy, creativity, passions, showcasing your talents, can be to do with romance. Well, Saturn is not known to be a great friend of any of those things, but hold on, to get the most from life, we actually have to put quite a lot in, even if it is around the things that we enjoy, such as a close relationship. It is about really putting our very best in to try and make it a success. But if you have been developing your talents and working feverishly on them, you can get your reward over the next 3 months. What you've been asked to do, particularly with Saturn going through the sign of Aries initially, is just make sure all the detailing of what you're trying to achieve is really tight, because if it is and you're applying yourself in just the right way, there's every chance you can have that really big breakthrough. You can order your year 2026 personal forecast now. Get the rest of this year 30% off your life roadmap report. Totally unique to each person these are produced for. And the combination of your life roadmap and your forecast can help you plan your moves really shrewdly in the months ahead. You also get my free gift of your general, love, Chinese and Indian written zodiac forecast for each of the 12 signs. Please see below for more. Sagittarius broadly for the last couple of years, a time when you may have experienced big headwinds around your home, emotional and family life. But that may have been about buying a property, moving in with a partner, having a kid, looking after your folks if they're older. It's possible that your internal world is where there's been a lot of growth. We don't think with Saturn that we get growth, but we can. It's all about application, because there is that part of you that is often excited about the next daring adventure, even if it does come on the back of some disappointing experiences. Saturn can, of course, create limitations, and it may not have all been easy. There may have been issues around the maintenance of a property, or where you've been renting. There may have been some challenges around those things, and these are not easy things at all, because the fourth house is about security. So if your emotional or physical security hasn't always been easy, just know that if you've really gone with it and grown with it, that on this particular phase of Saturn's journey for the next 3 months, you can see just how far you've come. You can order your year 2026 personal forecast now. Get the rest of this year 30% off your life roadmap report. Totally unique to each person these are produced for. And the combination of your life roadmap and your forecast can help you plan your moves really shrewdly in the months ahead. You also get my free gift of your general, love, Chinese and Indian written zodiac forecast for each of the 12 signs. Please see below for more. So Capricorn, for you, Saturn is your ruler, so you are much more closely aligned with the energies of Saturn than anyone else. But broadly over the last couple of years, Saturn has been in the part of your situation to do with how you think, your beliefs, but also your connections to the neighbours, people in your locality, also siblings, and anything to do with technology and sharing your ideas quickly. Saturn doesn't really like quick ideas. It likes to scrutinise them, slow them down, make sure that they make sense, they stack up. That's all very sensible. But if you found your voice becoming more prominent over the last couple of years, you've become or taken on a role of greater responsibility around all those strands. Not a surprise at all. But then, of course, Saturn went into your fourth house. So I think from the end of May through to the start of September, there may have been some heavy stuff, maybe around the family, some misunderstandings or mix-up. Just know that you have an appreciation of Saturn better than anyone. And over these next 3 or 4 months, if you really want to just push on with something that is very important to you in terms of sharing your ideas, teaching or training, technology, a blog, a website, as a writer, or active in your community, or setting your boundaries with people you may find challenging in your family or immediately around you, even if it hasn't been easy, sometimes we have to stand up for what we firmly believe in. You can order your year 2026 personal forecast now. Get the rest of this year 30% off your life roadmap report. Totally unique to each person these are produced for. And the combination of your life roadmap and your forecast can help you plan your moves really shrewdly in the months ahead. You also get my free gift of your general, love, Chinese and Indian written zodiac forecast for each of the 12 signs. Please see below for more. So Aquarius, Saturn, your traditional ruler, has been broadly in the second house of your situation the last couple of years. An old income stream may have dried up. Life may not have felt very firm in terms of the foundations. Perhaps your values have been shifting. Perhaps you've been scrutinising some of your approaches to situations, including your use of your resources. Maybe you've become a little bit more canny and careful with spending money. Why not? That's a good thing. Resources, after all, money is only the exchange of energy, and if you've been taking a bit more care or wanting to get better value, or what's really important to you, your values have changed from what they used to be, well, that's growth. It just shows how Saturn can be very beneficial. But if it has been really, really quite tough, you could have a big shift of energy between now and the middle of February, which is really pleasing. But what you've learned over the last couple of years will help you to marshal the resources or the gains that you may receive in a shrewder way. You're going to be cannier future forwards, because you're not the person you were when Saturn first went into Pisces in March 2023. You can order your year 2026 personal forecast now. Get the rest of this year 30% off your life roadmap report. Totally unique to each person these are produced for. And the combination of your life roadmap and your forecast can help you plan your moves really shrewdly in the months ahead. You also get my free gift of your general, love, Chinese and Indian written zodiac forecast for each of the 12 signs. Please see below for more. So Pisces, perhaps more than any other zodiac sign, you have felt the physical limitation of Saturn the most. So your energy and vitality may have been rather low. What Saturn's been asking you to do is to get rid of all the fripperies, anything that's not really essential in your life. Just focus on as narrow a range of activities as possible. So there may be some friends, connections, involvements, interests, activities, even possessions that you've just released, because now you know the more straightforward your life is, the more fundamentally ordered it is around what really works and is meaningful for you as an individual. That's where you're going to thrive the most. So if also, because the first house can be about our individuality, often Pisces people are very gifted in terms of flair, creativity and artistry. If you really want to take those parts of your nature and make them grow into something more substantive, that's what Saturn in Aries, when it goes back, is going to be guiding you around over the next 2.25 years. But if you feel you've let go or lost certain parts of your situation or connections that used to be there, that is quite difficult. But the first house is about our identity. Saturn may have tested it hard, but now where you have got to is what's really crucial for you, and that wisdom is something to behold. So you're really starting a complete new cycle, but if you've really gone for it, you can see, or will see, just how much traction you've been gaining, even if it does seem it's been going extremely slowly. Your reputation for talent and for expressing yourself, it may not be quite at the peak that you would like, but other people are becoming much more conscious that you are solid, reliable, but also committed around the things you feel passionate about. But you can't do it all, and that's what Saturn has asked you to do. Narrow your focus. So keep going with whatever you're keeping going with. You can order your year 2026 personal forecast now. Get the rest of this year 30% off your life roadmap report. Totally unique to each person these are produced for. And the combination of your life roadmap and your forecast can help you plan your moves really shrewdly in the months ahead. You also get my free gift of your general, love, Chinese and Indian written zodiac forecast for each of the 12 signs. Please see below for more.